The stars shone like scattered diamonds across the dark sky. In the cold silence of space, a massive alien ship drifted silently above the human colony. Its surface glimmered with strange lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. Inside, a woman moved through the command deck with calm precision. She was tall, her skin a pale silver, and her eyes glowed with an intensity that could freeze most beings in fear. She was the commander of the ship, known across countless star systems as a figure of terror. Entire worlds had trembled at the mere mention of her name. Yet, today, she felt something she had never felt before. "Everyone fears me," she said softly to herself, her voice echoing in the silent command room. "But not you, human?" On the surface below, chaos reigned. The colony's automated defenses fired bursts of energy into the sky, attempting to drive the ship away. Explosions shook the ground, smoke rose in thick clouds, and the citizens ran for cover. And yet, in the middle of the turmoil, a single figure stood completely still. The human's name was Aaron. He looked no older than 25, with dark hair falling over his forehead and calm eyes that reflected neither fear nor panic. While machines exploded around him and alarms blared, he simply watched the alien ship. He did not raise a weapon. He did not run. He did not scream. The commander's brow furrowed. How could a human be so calm? Every other species she had encountered cowered, begged, or fled at her presence. The thought itself was unimaginable. She leaned closer to the observation window, trying to study him more carefully. Her crew noticed her fascination. "Commander," one of them said nervously, "the human, he is not moving. Should we strike?" She shook her head slowly. "No. I need to see this anomaly. He is different." Aaron, unaware of the eye studying him from above, began to walk toward the center of the colony square. His movements were deliberate, almost casual, as if he had no idea of the power above him. People nearby screamed and ran, but he continued forward. The commander's eyes narrowed. What made him different? Was it courage? Foolishness? Or something else entirely? The human stopped beneath a tall, damaged tower that had been partially destroyed in the alien attack. He looked up at the ship and raised his hand slightly, as if greeting the alien. The command deck was silent. No one spoke. This was impossible. Finally, the commander broke the silence. "Prepare a transport. I will speak to him myself." Her officers hesitated. "But, Commander, he is human. They are weak. You could." "I said I will speak to him," she interrupted sharply. Her voice was calm but carried a dangerous edge. "Do not question me." A few minutes later, a sleek, silver transport detached from the ship and descended rapidly toward the colony square. It moved with silent precision, stopping just above the ground. A hatch opened, and a ramp extended. The alien stepped out, her form glowing faintly under the harsh lights of the colony. Her presence alone caused people to stumble backward in fear, their faces pale. Yet Aaron did not move. He tilted his head slightly, as if curious, but not afraid. The alien stopped a few meters away from him, towering over him. Her eyes, bright and unblinking, studied him carefully. "Human," she said, her voice both melodic and commanding, "you do not fear me." "Why?" Aaron blinked, then smiled faintly. "Why should I?" he asked simply. "You are strong. You are dangerous. But I do not see a reason to be afraid." The commander's crew exchanged worried glances. Never had a human spoken to their leader like this. They were supposed to tremble, beg, or obey. This human, he defied every expectation. "Most species would be broken by my presence," she said, her voice rising slightly with a mix of frustration and curiosity. "Most would plead for mercy." Aaron shook his head. "I have nothing to beg for. I am alive. I am free. You cannot take that from me unless I let you." Her silver eyes widened slightly. The confidence, the calmness, the sheer lack of fear, it was disarming. She had faced countless beings, some with powers far beyond imagination, and yet none had reacted like this. The commander lifted her hand slightly, and a wave of energy pulsed toward the ground. Humans around them screamed and ran, but Aaron stayed in place. The energy passed around him, as if he were protected by some invisible shield. The alien stared. This is not possible," she whispered. Aaron looked at her with steady eyes. "You can try to scare me. You can try to destroy me. But I will not be afraid. Fear is yours to feel, not mine." The crew whispered among themselves. "Commander, he is not reacting. Nothing we do can." "I know," she said, her voice tight with disbelief. "I need to understand him. I need to see why he is different." A sudden alarm rang from the colony's perimeter. Another fleet of alien ships was approaching, far larger and more threatening than the first. The commander's face hardened. These ships were ruthless, but now, faced with this human, she felt a strange hesitation. Aaron turned toward the sky, as if acknowledging the new threat. He did not panic. He did not run. Instead, he squared his shoulders and readied himself. The commander stepped closer, her glowing eyes locked on him. "Prepare yourself, human," she said. "I will see what makes you exceptional." Aaron simply nodded. "I am ready." As the new fleet drew closer, the tension in the colony square grew unbearable. The humans and aliens alike sensed that something extraordinary was about to unfold. Something that no one could have predicted. For the first time, the commander felt something she had never felt before, curiosity mixed with uncertainty. The humans, fragile, ordinary, unpredictable humans, might hold secrets even she could not foresee. And in that moment, a bond, unspoken and mysterious, began to form between the alien commander and the fearless human. The encounter had begun. The stars outside the alien ship glimmered like scattered shards of glass. Inside, the commander paced the observation deck, her silver eyes fixed on the human below. He moved through the ruined colony as if the chaos around him did not exist. Alarms screamed. Smoke twisted toward the sky. Machines fired energy bursts. And still, he walked calmly, almost lazily, unhurried. "Why is he not afraid?" she whispered, almost to herself. Her crew exchanged uneasy glances. "Commander, he is not reacting." "Not even to the attack," one of them said. She did not answer. This human was unlike anything she had seen in her long career of conquest and terror. Entire worlds had bent before her. Species had crumbled, pleading for mercy. Yet this one stood, unbroken, unshaken, unafraid. A faint smile crossed her face, a strange, unfamiliar emotion. Curiosity. She moved to the command console and activated a communicator. "Prepare a transport." "I will go down myself," she said, her voice calm but commanding. Her officers hesitated. "Commander, he is human. They are fragile. You could." "I know," she interrupted sharply. "That is why I must go. I need to see for myself." The transport detached from the ship and glided silently toward the colony. Smoke and debris parted around it as it descended, and the human looked up, his dark eyes meeting hers. There was no fear. Only a quiet, steady calm. The alien commander stepped out onto the ground. She was taller than any human, her silver skin glowing faintly, her presence overwhelming. Citizens scattered, screaming, and falling to their knees. And yet, he did not move. He tilted his head slightly, curious but composed. "Human," she said, her voice echoing, melodic but firm. "You do not fear me." "Why?" He blinked, then smiled faintly. "Why should I?" he asked simply. "You are strong, yes. Dangerous, yes. But I see no reason to be afraid." Her eyes narrowed. "Most species would beg, would collapse. They would surrender to my will." He shook his head. "I do not surrender to fear. I do not live in it. I choose my own path." She felt a strange sensation, a mix of disbelief and awe. She had faced beings far more powerful than humans, and none had ever spoken to her like this. Your species, you are unpredictable, she said softly. I need to understand why. I need to see what makes you different. Aaron, the human, looked up at the darkening sky where more alien ships were approaching. Instead of panicking, he took a deep breath. Then see, he said. Watch me. The commander studied him carefully. She decided to test him, not with weapons, but with observation. She activated a small energy pulse in the ground near him, a move that would normally knock any human off their feet. He barely flinched. Impossible, she whispered. A second test followed. She projected a holographic weapon in his path. It could have destroyed him instantly. He stepped aside, almost casually, as if he were anticipating the movement. Not out of fear, not out of strategy, but out of calm intuition. Her crew was whispering now. Commander, he is untouchable by normal means, one of them said. She did not respond. She was too fascinated to speak. This human's strength was not in weapons, not in shields, not in power. It was in something else, something she had never seen before. She decided to engage him directly. Human, you are remarkable, she said. But strength alone will not save you from the fleet approaching. You will face annihilation soon. Aaron looked at her steadily. Perhaps, he said. But fear does not guide me. Hope does. Courage does. And together, my people and I, we survive. The commander's silver eyes widened. Hope, courage, this is alien to me. She had ruled through fear, through absolute power, yet here was a being unbroken by her presence. A sudden alarm rang from the sensors. The second wave of alien ships was closer now, faster, and more precise. The colony below panicked. Humans ran, screamed, hid. And yet Aaron stood in the middle of the square, observing the approach, calm and unafraid. Why, she asked, almost aloud. Why do they not fear me? Why does this human stand? He turned slightly toward her. Because fear is not always the strongest weapon, he said. Sometimes, patience, strategy, and courage are stronger. The commander felt a flicker of understanding and unease. This human may be weaker physically, but stronger in ways I have never considered. She stepped closer. I have commanded fleets, destroyed worlds, ruled through fear. And yet, you are untouched by my presence. Untouched by the threat. Why? Aaron smiled faintly. Because fear is your tool, not mine. You see power as control. I see it as challenge. And I choose how I respond, not you. Her crew watched in stunned silence. Never had a human spoken with such confidence, such calm authority, without any threat of violence. It was as if the human had discovered a new kind of power, one that terrified the commander more than any weapon could. The alien fleet drew nearer, their engines glowing like molten fire in the sky. The colony braced for the worst. And still, Aaron moved with purpose. He gathered a small group of humans, organized them silently, and led them toward defensive positions. He did not shout. He did not panic. He simply moved, and the others followed, their fear replaced by quiet determination. The commander watched, fascinated. Perhaps this is what humans are, not fragile, not weak, but resilient. Unpredictable. And more dangerous than any weapon. She lowered her hand, the test's complete. You are remarkable, she admitted, almost softly. Perhaps, there is more to your species than I imagined. Aaron looked up at her. Judge us not by fear or strength alone. Judge us by what we do when all hope seems lost. That is where we shine. For the first time, the commander felt a strange respect. Fear had always been her language. Power had always been her tool. And yet, here was a human teaching her a new lesson, a lesson in courage, calm, and hope. As the alien fleet closed in, the commander realized she could no longer see humans as weak. Not this one. Not any of them. She turned back to her ship. Prepare the ship for observation. I will not destroy them, not yet. I must see more. Aaron and his people readied themselves for the coming battle. But he did so without panic, without fear. And somewhere, high above, a silver-eyed alien commander watched, unsure whether she was the hunter or the observer. The encounter had changed something inside her. For the first time, she wondered, had she underestimated humanity? And in that uncertainty, a new story was about to unfold. The alien commander drifted silently in her ship, watching the human colony below. Smoke still curled from the earlier attacks, and the ground bore the scars of chaos. But something extraordinary had happened, something she could not ignore. Humans were not running. They were not hiding. They were preparing. The second fleet of alien ships had arrived, their engines burning like molten fire, their weapons primed for annihilation. Every other species she had encountered would have already fled, begging for mercy, shivering in terror. Yet the humans moved with quiet precision, their fear replaced by a strange, unyielding resolve. She narrowed her eyes. She had come to conquer. She had come to command through fear. And yet, the more she observed, the more she realized that fear had no power here. Her silver eyes tracked the human she had met before, Aaron. He stood at the center of the colony square, directing humans with gestures so simple, so calm, that they obeyed without hesitation or panic. Every command, every movement, was deliberate. Every human seemed to trust him completely, even as the alien fleet descended. A flicker of something she had never felt stirred within her, admiration. She activated a communicator, sending a signal to her crew. "Prepare the ship for observation," she said. "We will not attack, not yet. Watch carefully. Learn from them." Her officers looked confused. "Commander, you mean to observe instead of destroy?" "Yes," she replied softly, almost to herself. "I need to understand this species, before it is too late for me to learn." The human fleet, though small and poorly armed, moved like a single organism. Using ingenuity, clever traps, and courage, they delayed the alien ships' attacks. Energy beams were deflected. Ships were maneuvered to create cover. Every action seemed chaotic to an outsider, but to Aaron, it was a perfect strategy. The commander's silver eyes widened. "This is remarkable." She had ruled through power, through fear, through annihilation. And yet here was a species that could stand against superior technology through unity and courage alone. One of the alien ships fired a beam directly at the human center. Aaron did not panic. He signaled, and a small human device redirected the energy, saving countless lives. The alien commander blinked in astonishment. They improvise. They adapt. They survive not through force, but through intelligence and spirit. Her heart, something she had long believed unnecessary, thumped with a strange rhythm. She realized then that she had underestimated them. Entire civilizations had fallen before her, yet humans were something else. Something alive in a way that no fear, no weapon, no fleet could fully suppress. Aaron turned toward her ship, meeting her gaze. In that moment, no words were spoken, yet the message was clear: we are not afraid. We endure. We rise. The commander felt a flicker of humility. She had come to conquer. She had come to instill fear. And yet, she found herself watching, learning, and perhaps even respecting them. A sudden alert signaled the approach of a massive alien dreadnought, a threat that could destroy the colony in a single strike. She expected chaos, panic, screams. Instead, she saw humans calmly preparing. They reinforced defenses, coordinated traps, and positioned themselves strategically. Her silver eyes softened. For the first time, she understood that strength was not measured by weapons alone. Courage, intelligence, hope, and unity, these were the true weapons of humanity. And then, a small, unexpected wave of human ingenuity turned the tide. Through clever strategy and fearless coordination, they damaged the dreadnought systems, forcing it to retreat. The fleet faltered, confused, and the humans stood, unharmed and resolute. The commander exhaled slowly. She had not just observed victory, she had witnessed something far greater. She had witnessed the spirit of humanity. She stepped out of her ship, alone, and walked toward the central square. Aaron met her gaze, calm as ever. "You see now," he said softly. "We are more than fragile bodies. We are more than fear and weakness. We endure. We adapt. We survive." The alien commander nodded. "Yes. I see. Perhaps I have been wrong all my life. Perhaps power alone is not enough." A pause stretched between them, silent but full of understanding. She had come as a conqueror. She would leave with respect and curiosity. The human colony watched, silent but aware. The alien commander returned to her ship, not as a threat, but as an observer. For the first time, she considered humanity not as prey, but as a species worthy of awe. From her ship, she whispered to herself, "This species. I will not forget them. I must see what they are capable of next." The stars shone bright again. Chaos had not destroyed the humans. Fear had not broken them. And somewhere, deep in the commander's mind, a new thought had taken root: perhaps humans are not to be conquered, but studied, respected, and feared in a way no one else could. The encounter had ended, but the story of humanity's courage, resilience, and ingenuity had only just begun.